I'm back here with another video on Ron Brown's YouTube channel where we usually discuss drones and portable action cameras and just camera gear like that. But today's something a little bit different. Today we have a video kind of about the Apple iPad Pro here. This is the 11-inch M1 iPad Pro. And why we're talking about the iPad Pro today is that Apple just announced recently that on May, I'm checking my notes here so I get things right, on May 23rd, 2023, they will finally release Final Cut Pro for mobile, or in this case, iOS. People have been wanting professional apps, including Final Cut Pro, for the iPad Pro since it came out 10 years ago, the first iPad Pro. I don't know what generation we're on, but there's a whole bunch of them by now. And so finally, after all this time, a couple weeks ago, they announced that finally the iPad Pro will receive Final Cut. And I'll give you some of the details up front. And before I even give you some more of those details, while we're talking about this on the channel that mostly does drones and action camera, portable camera type of reviews and tutorials, is that many folks who fly drones and use action cameras such as the GoPro Hero 11, the DJI Action 3, DJI Pocket 2, Insta360 products. Many of them always ask me, leave comments about what editor do I use. And, there's many good desktop editors. There's, of course, Final Cut Pro, there's Premiere Pro, there's DaVinci Resolve, and a whole bunch of other, good ones, too, for the desktop. But the mobile's always been lacking a good editor. For, a couple years now, I've been using LumaFusion on my iPad Pro iOS. And, just recently, DaVinci Resolve came to the iPad, and I played with a demo, or not really a demo, you can download it. I played with it a little bit, but not enough to give you any sort of opinion on my thoughts on it. I just haven't had time. There's been a big hole in the the mobile editing kind of, we'll call it editing game here. All the good stuff's been on desktop, and there's been very few choices on the mobile side of things. And I don't know, Final Cut's iOS only, so it won't be coming to Android devices. I'm sure Android people have LumaFusion and DaVinci Resolve. I'm not sure. I think they do. So this all, it's all about iOS. So if you're editing on an Android tablet, sorry, none of this will apply or help you folks out. So that's just a little, kind of to give you a little background on why we're talking about this and why it's important to people to shoot with kind of mobile cameras, because, you have to get it, you have to edit, and you don't always have a desktop. So with that being said, the cost, let's get right into the cost here. Final Cut Pro for the iPad is $4.99 a month, a subscription plan, I know, and $49 a year if you just want to buy a year's worth. So a good value there if you buy for the year. Now, I know people don't like subscription plans, and Final Cut on the Final Cut Pro on the Mac has been a $2.99 one-time purchase, and it usually go for years and years before they come out with I think it's Final Cut X now, before they come out with another version of Final Cut. 5-6 years pass or more. So, I don't know what that breaks down to per year, but you're not constantly paying for Final Cut and desktop now. If they're doing this subscription model on the iPad, probably the next time Final Cut for desktop does get a major update, it probably will go to subscription. Just my opinion. I have no knowledge, no rumors. It's just my particular thoughts that they're kind of doing this. The whole world's going to subscription plans, so Apple, I'm sure will probably follow suit. So there's your price breakdown. Again, this goes against like LumaFusion, where you only pay, you only pay, it's like $25 or whatever one time, payment. You don't pay by the month, a year, and so on. So there's still the non-subscription plan, which a lot of people like. And the Resolve is free, but I'm sure there's built-in things. If you want extra things, you have to pay. I haven't taken a deep dive to what Resolve costs you if you want all the bells and whistles and features that aren't in the free version. But anyway, so more stuff about the iPad stuff. Maybe stuff. The details. The stuff that not everybody likes here. Final Cut Pro for iOS will only run on a iPad that has an M1 chip or greater. So that throws out all the iPad minis. I don't think there's a regular iPad with an M1 chip in. So I think you have to have an iPad Pro, and it has to be an M1 or better, which goes back a couple years. But people run older iPad Pros won't be able to use this. So it needs fast hardware to run this Final Cut. And but pencil support. It does have pencil support, and it will have a touchscreen interface. And you can. I'm going to say you can. You can. You right now. As of the specs they have right now, you cannot edit from an external drive, SSD drive, like you can on LumaFusion. LumaFusion, you could put all the files on an external drive and do all the editing from there. And so what to say? People that have iPad Pros with smaller, hard drives on them, 128, 256, and so on, are going to be real cramped to be editing 4K video with just their external drives and internal drives, and of course you can't edit to external drives. So hopefully got the the 1 TB version of the iPad Pro, so you have plenty of headroom in there to do these big edits on 4K video. So that is a limitation now. That doesn't mean it will be a week from now, a month from now, a year from now. So but just keep that in mind. That is again, I have a 256 because getting off track here. These iPad Pros, they're expensive devices, but they're not terribly expensive. They're still cheaper than getting a laptop in a lot of cases. But once you ramp up the memory, to 512, 1 TB, let's just use the 1 TB. Once you move up to 1 TB, you like double the price of the device. Like if the thing's $1,000, once you ramp up to 1 TB, now it's a $2,000 device, which makes it probably more expensive than at least an iPad Air that with the same memory in it. So there's that to consider too. Some people just prefer the iPad, just like the device better. They don't care that it costs more or less than a laptop. They just like it. So, but a lot of people are more cost conscious, and they're not going to pay more for an iPad in many cases than a MacBook Pro or MacBook Air, because they still have more functionality than the pads. These have the touch interface, which makes it easier for a lot of people, but a lot of people still see more value in the laptop. And again, that's all personal opinion here. So I don't think I told you the date yet. So this will launch on May 23rd, which I think I'm filming this video on the 20th. So it's a couple days away. It's a Tuesday. Apple does a lot of things on a Tuesday. So just a couple days. And also Logic. It's a sound. It's a you create sounds on it. I'm doing a bad job explaining Logic, but for sound, audio, Logic will also be available, and that day too, which is until now has always just been a Mac OS app until now. So, and that kind of works hand in hand with getting your audio right in Final Cut. So that'll be available too. On the 23rd, I forget the pricing on that and anything else. I don't really use Logic. My audio is not a big portion of what my workflow right now, but just keep that in mind. So Logic will also be coming out if you are a Logic user in the desktop. Now, a couple other things here. this is stuff that none of this is nailed down. This is gonna be always what it is. But what I've heard so far, and Apple put this out in their press release. You will be able to round trip at edits from the iPad to the desktop. And this is kind of very confusing when I was reading it, and kind of whenever you read a spec or what's the other word I want to use? Not spec, but a feature of a product. And you kind of don't understand what it means after you get done reading it. Probably means that's not going to work that great or whatever. But I hope I'm wrong. We'll see. But you can start an edit on the iPad Pro, and then eventually you can convert it over to the your computer, your iMac or your MacBook Pro, and finish the product there. But I don't think you can round trip it the other direction. I don't think you can start it on the computer and then finish it on the iPad. I think it has to go that one direction I said, and it's kind of like LumaFusion. It's a paid feature in LumaFusion where you can start a project and then eventually set it over to the Mac to finish in Final Cut. I know we're jumping apps here, but yeah, I've never tried it. It's a paid feature. You have to pay, I think a one-time fee to be able to do it. I've never done it. I haven't really felt the need to, but this could be a big deal for some people. So it is included, but I think it's got limitations early on. But again, early days. Let's hope that Apple improves this product, once it gets out in the public's hands and they get a lot of feedback from their users and so on, people who purchase the product, and they want things like they want external hard drive support, and they want maybe two-way ability to move projects back and forth between this device and a Mac computer. So just remember, and if you want those things, and when you buy the app, put that in all your comments and surveys and suggestions. Some of the things that we talked about here, maybe things that of course you would like that I didn't bring up. Just kind of scratching the surface here. And to cut to the chase here on this, am I going to upgrade to Final Cut Pro? I'm for right now. I'm going to stick with LumaFusion. With one of the main things being that I do edit my video off an external drive, because I do have a 256 drive on this iPad Pro, so I don't want to clog it all up with these 4K files, and on a big project I'd never even get it done. So until they add external support for Final Cut on the iPad Pro, I will be sticking with LumaFusion, which I'm very happy with now. I mean, of course, I want to see what Final Cut has. And it's nice that it'll have a lot of the same, hopefully, interface and tools that the desktop version has. But again, I've learned LumaFusion well enough that I can get myself around there pretty good and get most of the stuff done I need there to get done. So again, that's where I'm staying for right now. I may have a different story a week from now, a month from now, a year from now. But for right now, I'm sticking with LumaFusion. But again, anybody interested in Final Cut for iOS, Tuesday, May 23rd, $5 a month, $50 a year. So please let me know if you are going to get it down below in the comments, and if you're upgrading from LumaFusion, and I'd like to hear back from you. And I expect this to be a big release from Apple. I mean, I know they have some looks like there's great features in it, like the scrub video round. You can just, with the touch interface, looks like it's, going to be a really cool feature. So, again, I keep saying it over and over again, we'll look forward to the release on Tuesday. I'm sure Apple's been kind of working on this, or had like a version of it going for a long time, so hopefully it comes out without too many bugs. And that Tuesday the 23rd, look for some videos from some big channels. Like, again, I don't know if any of these people have it or not, but just taking a guess. I Just Teen, I'm thinking she's probably been playing with the demo. She'll probably have a video out Tuesday, that kind of a tutorial showing you some of the features of it. and some other big Mac channels may have already had it and have been playing with it. You can get you good feedback rate on Tuesday whether you want to buy this product or not. So that's it, folks. If you found anything good in this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already a member. Ring the bell so you'll get notification when I put more videos up. And I am trying to do more Apple related stuff now, as well as my drones and action cameras and pocket cameras. So try to work a little more Apple content in. I don't want to be an Apple channel per se, but especially when the Apple products tie in to what we're doing with the drones and the the portable cameras and everything, with its editor, kind of goes hand in hand. So, okay, folks, thanks for stopping by, watching the video, and we'll see you in the next one.